Hey guys, it's Fresh Bread Homestead, and today I'm gonna share with you my recipe for some simple drop biscuits. To start out with, you want 2 cups of all-purpose flour in your bowl, and then to that I add about a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of salt. I never really measure these, I just eyeball it. You can also add other seasonings if you want, such as onion powder or garlic powder. I occasionally add in Italian herbs as well. After adding those, I use a fork to mix the flour mixture together. But you can use your hands or a whisk if you prefer. Later, you'll see me use my hands to mix in the shortening. I grab my kitchen scale here, and I'm going to weigh out 113 grams of palm shortening, which I'm using as a substitute for butter. If you decide to use butter, it'll be a stick or half a cup that you're going to want to grate into the flour mixture using a cheese grater. I'm currently dairy free, so I find that when I bake biscuits or breads, palm shortening is a very nice one-to-one substitute. So I just have been using that. Once you have that weighed out, you're going to want to mix it in really well. I start out using a fork and then I switch to my hands because using your hands allows the butter or palm shortening to warm up and get incorporated into the flour mixture really well. You're looking for about pea-sized crumbs, and that's how you know it's all mixed in. As you can tell here, I'm using my hands and really working in that palm shortening into the flour mixture, really making sure I incorporate it well. And then I'm going to grab my oat milk, which is my substitute for cow's milk, and I'm going to put a 3/4 cup in to start with. The recipe calls for 3/4 to a cup, so it really just depends on how wet your dough is. So I'm going to mix that in, and then you'll see I grab the oat milk and I add a little bit more because, like I said, you really want a wet dough. It'll make it easier to scoop into your biscuit shapes. Once the dough is made, I will start preheating my oven to 450 degrees. I like to preheat my pan as well, so I'll just pop it into the cold oven and let it all come to temperature together. And then once my pan and oven are heated up, I'll remove the cast iron and swirl around a little bit of oil so that way the biscuits don't stick. Here I'm using olive oil, but you can use any type of oil or even some butter. Just let it melt and then swirl it around really well in a nice even coating. Then I'm just gonna take a regular spoon and start scooping out chunks for my biscuits. The size doesn't really matter. And the edges can be touching as well. It won't matter once they're all cooked. This recipe will make about 8 biscuits depending on how big or little your scoops are. So once you have all the dough scooped into the pan, you'll place it into the oven for about 18 to 20 minutes until they are nice and golden brown on top. And option 2, once you are done cooking them, fresh out the oven, you can brush some melted butter on top and give them a nice shine. But there's your lovely biscuits.